to welcome the host of a Sunday afternoon show on Newsmax TV. It is titled Diamond and Silk Crystal Clear. They are the authors of the best-selling book Uprising. Who the hell said you can't ditch and switch? Welcome, Diamond and Silk. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and thank you for having us.
You bet, you bet. Now first, Diamond and Silk, I know that you've explained this before to others, but for our audience that hasn't met you yet, please explain, what do you mean by ditch and switch?
Well, listen, back in 2015, we loved the candidate Donald J. Trump so much, we knew other people loved him too.
Yeah.
So we wanted people to come off of what we call that Democrat plantation, switch their party to Republican to vote for Donald J. Trump in the primaries and then go on to vote for him in the general election. So we started something called the Ditch and Switch Now movement. And it was nothing wrong with thinking for yourself, thinking outside of the box. You didn't have to be a Democrat. You could be a Republican. You can think for yourselves. And that's what we were telling people. And that started a movement back in 2015.
Beautiful. Well, okay, Diamond. So now he's there now. We got a President Biden. Give us your assessment. Give our viewers your assessment. What do you think of the first few days of the Biden administration?
Well, I think it's been very dark, very dreary. Whenever you have somebody sitting there and they are governing with just a stroke of a pen, that's very dangerous. That's what I call a dictator.
That's right. I don't view him as a president. I view him as a dictator, as part of a communist regime.
Right.
How is he governing? And why isn't he doing anything that's going to benefit we, the American people, versus doing stuff that's benefiting himself or selling out this country to another communist country called China?
And also, on top of all of that, when you look at everything, he's undoing things. And these things that he's undoing is hurting the American people.
That's right.
When you take jobs, you want to dangle, I'm going to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour, but you want to take away a job paying $30 and $40 an hour. That doesn't make sense. When you want to take and you want to get rid of an executive order at which will cause the price of insulin to go up, which affects millions of Americans. They can't live without that. There's something wrong with him. So I view this as dark. He said it was going to be a dark winter. I view this as a dark winter. And what I'm telling people to do is pray. Because I believe that prayer changes things. And what's done in the dark, it's time for it to come to the light.
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw him come in his first couple of days. He wipes out 11,000 jobs with the stroke of the pen with the Keystone XL pipeline. And you mentioned, he's talking about we the people, but there were no people allowed at his inauguration, no American citizens, because they kept him out with fences and barbed wire. Now coming up next week, right, we all saw Speaker Pelosi did her drive-by impeachment of President Trump. Next week, it heads to the Senate under Chuck Schumer. Diamond and Silk, what do you make of all this?
Well, first of all, you got to ask yourself, why is it that they are trying to really just get rid of President Donald J. Trump? What are they afraid of? Because you've got to be afraid to go after a private citizen. This man is now a private citizen. Yes, he's still our president in my mind. He will never stop being our president, but he's a private citizen. So why are you going after him? Why are you trying to demonize him in front of the world, in front of the American people? The more they do that, the more we love him even more.
That's right.
So I don't know what they're doing, why they're doing it, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. They can try to do whatever they want to. You would never be able to erase this man's legacy. You have people right now that's having buyer's remorse for voting for Biden. Let me tell you something. People are going to wish President Trump was back in that White House.
That's right.
Well, in my opinion, I'd be curious on yours, is that President Trump is actually going to emerge stronger after this impeachment than he was before, because it just shows the viciousness of the left, that they're willing to go after him with these kind of baseless lies. We saw for years they pushed this Russia collusion hoax, which we now know was completely fake, was built on a document from Christopher Steele. He admitted himself he built the whole thing because he wanted to distract from Hillary Clinton's email scandal. Do you think that President Trump emerges even stronger from what they're trying to do with this impeachment?
bigger,
Yes.
better, stronger than we've ever seen him before.
That's right.
Listen, you can kick him all you want to. You can try to kick him down. He's going to rise up bigger, better, and stronger because the American people are awakening. I said, you know what? Is it possible that we could be going through this here so that we can make them wake the masses?
Yeah.
It's time for people to drop the political affiliation.
That's
because
right.
when you look at both sides, it's like a corrupt bird with two dirty wings.
Yep.
And it's just all corrupt,
It's sickening.
both sides.
Yeah.
So I say drop the political affiliation and let's stand together as we, the American people, and let's wake up. Let's look at our systems.
Yep.
Let's look at who you're voting in and how these people can tear your livelihoods down with a stroke of a pen.
Wow.
See, when President Trump signed the first executive order,
Uh-huh.
his first day, they wanted to deem him as a dictator. What do you call Biden that done signed, 40 executive
What
orders?
do you call them?
Mhm.
Right. And, one of the things that's been so striking is this difference between the rhetoric that you heard from Joe Biden and the Democrats and the actual reality that they are bringing. But I want to pick up on the point that you made. We hear from our viewers all the time that a lot of times, people used to think that politics was a conflict between Democrats and Republicans. Now they feel like it's really just a conflict between the American people and the establishment, between the American people and the swamp, between the American people and politicians and lobbyists. What do you say to that?
Oh, you're absolutely right.
True.
You have people up there working for their own greed and not the need of the American people.
That's right.
They playing identity politics. They're demonizing one group. I say they all should quit because they ain't doing nothing for us.
That's right.
We paid their salary.
Yep.
They done voted for them to have a raise. And they sitting up there talking about impeaching a private citizen,
Yeah.
talking about putting measures in place, demonizing Trump supporters and calling them extreme terrorists.
Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't make sense.
It's starting to feel like our government, well, it's been feeling like our government have been against we, the American people. When I look at our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence, that's been trampled on. The Constitution have been broken. Laws have been broken thanks to our government, and they have not been held responsible or accountable for that. And it's time for we, the American people,
That's
to
right.
really stand up, open up our mouth, and not be afraid to speak out, because once again, we pay their salary. Our tax dollars pay their salaries. They're supposed to be working for we, the American people, not the other way around. And it feels like we've been used and abused and thrown back somewhere into a corner and told to shut up. Don't you say nothing, or we're going to silence you. We're going to censure you. If we have our tax dollars have to pay their salaries, then they need to be working for us, or they need to retire, go somewhere and rock their grandbaby.
That's right.
That's right. And I want to get your opinion too, because you guys have come out and you've been there for a long time, speaking out courageously, and you said to everybody, hey, think for yourself and speak your mind. But now we have big tech coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to decide who gets to say what, when, where, and how. What's your view of this censorship that we're seeing from big tech of conservative voices?
Well, we've been talking about this here censorship about conservative voices. We started talking about that back in 2018.
Yeah.
We was up there on the Hill testifying about it. So this here is happening. What it feels like to me, Eric, it feels like big tech and even our media, which is owned by 6 corporations, is holding the American people hostage.
Yeah.
If you don't go along with their narrative, what they're using is these entities to weaponize them against the people that choose not to go along with their narratives. I think it's a sad day in America. And how do we combat that as the American people? We do the same thing like those patriots did with this hedge fund and this stock market.
That's right.
How they brought them down. What you do, you need to stop watching this left-leaning media. Cut it off.
Yep.
Because, see, they make their money based on ratings. That's how they can charge for commercials.
That's right.
Social media, you need to turn it off.
Yep.
Get rid of it. It's what needs to happen. Hit them where it hurts, in their pockets, and they will stop that. But we have to stand together as Americans. Martin Luther King have a quote. I can't quote it right, but I'm just going to say it. He said, we may have all came over here on different ships, but right now we're in the same boat.
In the same boat.
He is right.
Yep.
Listen, all of us is in the same boat. Yes. When the cost of insulin drives up, it don't affect just Republicans. it affects Republicans
right.
and Democrats.
Everybody.
That's why we need to meet in the middle,
Yep.
get on the same page, and fight this tyranny head on. These people are trying to usher in soft socialism, which is going to turn into some hardcore communism.
That's right.
We can't let that happen in the United States because we are the greatest country on earth. We believe in freedoms. This is a republic, and the republic
Yes.
has got to stand.
Absolutely. And very quickly, Diamond, so just a few seconds left, your words to the American people about prayer and how we revive the American Republic.
Listen, every day we pray at 11:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, praying for this country. How we revive our republic, say no to what you don't want. If we see tyranny when it comes to our media, turn it off.
That's
when we
right.
see tyranny coming to big tech, don't use their products.
That's right.
That's what's got to happen. We got to go back old school.
That's
We
right.
got to go. We got
Beautiful.
to stop depending on these people because it's easy and go back old school and do what we used
Now,
to do
just,
back
just
in the day.
10 seconds left. Remind our viewers where they can follow you on social media and where they can catch your show, please.
Oh, we have our new social media platform called Chatdit, ChatDit.com, and we're on Newsmax on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Diamond and Silk, crystal clear.
Follow them, folks. That's Diamond and Silk. They've always got a compelling perspective, and at the end of the day, incredibly hopeful, patriotic perspective. Stay right here with us on Actionable Intelligence.